Hey everyone, back with Teen Talks. Really excited about this week's conversation, as I think it's going to be quite applicable for high school students, those of you that are in your first year of university or college, and those of you that are maybe even adults going back and continuing education. A lot of information here, and it's really interesting to see how, even though I haven't been in my first year of university in almost 13 years, how things just don't change when you take that transition from high school to college. So today's topic is, if I could go back and tell my high school self what I would like to know about my first year of college or university, what would it be? The interesting thing about today's topic is that it's not my advice that I'm giving you. It's from teenagers who are in their first, 3 weeks of college or university, and they're feeling it. And so this talk came about because, as you know, I've got so many of my past students like on social media and stuff, and I saw that one girl had posted this meme about, just basically trying to keep up with life, and it was like a picture that was just so dramatic. And so then I just started to reach out to some of these college and university students and just said hey, if you could go back to last year to grade 12, what advice would you give yourself now that you're here? And so I've got some really great stuff that I would like to share with you. I would really love if you're a high school teacher, especially grade 12, if you could share this with your grade 12 students, as it just might be some prep for them to think about as they're coming into this final year before they do take that leap into post-secondary education, if that's the route that they choose to take. The first thing that I want to read is just a quote that I just think is perfect. So one teenager wrote back and said, "There are a lot of differences between high school and university, and I've learned them all in my first week," which is just so funny and so true. So if you've been through any form of post-secondary, you know that the struggle is real. You're now living on your own. You're cooking on your own, you're deciding when you eat, when you shower, when you get out of bed, when you go to class, if you do your assignments, when you hand them in. So I had a lot of feedback from a lot of teenagers, and I guess the general consensus, I could break it down into a few main topics about what it is that they think is really important that they wish they could go back and tell themselves. So if I was to categorize them, it would be studying, mental health, money, and putting yourself out there socially. So just study skills, what the general feedback is, I was, quite smart in high school, or I did well, I didn't have to study hard, I didn't need those study skills. Now I'm in university and it's crazy, and I don't have the skills, I don't know how to study. That's not something you can learn at 18 years old. It's a skill that you should learn to acquire throughout your schooling. And so, for example, one girl wrote me and she said, university is no joke. In a 50-minute class, we can go through 40 slides and be expected to have an assignment due on them the next day. So if you are not there and you're not paying attention and you don't know how to keep up, you're quickly going to find that out. University is not like high school in the sense that you don't get to miss an assignment and that won't affect your grade. And this is what drove me nuts with the education system, is that we don't take zeros, or students can not hand things in and we'll just make it up somewhere else. That's not how the world really works. And so now these students are finding that they're in college and university, and it's I don't hand an assignment, that majorly affects my grade. I don't hand my assignment in on time, it doesn't count. So those things are really important. So making sure that in high school you learn study skills. One teen wrote back and said that they wished that in high school they had have taken even 1 hour per week to just read through their notes. Not study, just read through the notes that they took that's in their binder from whichever class. Take 1 hour and just refresh your brain. What a difference that would have made. Having said that, with the speed of the way school goes in college or university. Another person reached out and said that resources are available, so make sure that you tap into those. When you go to the library, ask for help, find an academic advisor, ask your RA, like your residence person, to help you, to point you in the right direction. When it comes to studying, time management is key. So just really making sure that you get an agenda or a calendar or something, and you figure out a way that you're going to fit all of your schooling in throughout the week, so that you're not starting to fall behind, because as soon as you fall behind, it's a very slippery slope. And then one last thing in regards to academics, making sure that you get all of your work done through the week, like staying caught up with it through the week. So when the weekend comes, you get to experience other things like going out, exploring your new city, partying, all of these new things that come with university, living on your own, the mental health time, taking that time for yourself. If throughout the week you kind of just delay that response of studying and getting assignments done, then now you're spending 7 days a week. Your weekends are not a weekend, and you're extending your workload. So just making sure time management becomes key. Mental health, this was stressed by every single person who wrote me back. They said that if they wished that if they could go back and tell their high school selves something that was important, is mental health and learning how to prioritize that. Because if you don't know how to prioritize it while you're still living at home and have that opportunity, you're going to find it so much harder as you move into college or university. And so mental health looks like taking maybe even an hour for yourself, or a day for yourself, taking a nap, reading a book, taking a bath, going for a walk, just putting all schoolwork away, putting social media away, and just really taking time to reflect on what it is that makes you feel good, and taking some opportunity to do that. I wasn't surprised to have one guy write me and tell me about how he's been meeting people that are literally forgetting to shower to continue with their exercise. They were an athlete in high school, and now they're not, and they're not even making the time to cut out that physical activity for themselves. People forget to eat when they move out on their own. There's so much high stress and so much going on that, forgetting to sleep, eat, shower, and exercise, that's not uncommon when you first move off to college or university, if you don't know how to prioritize your mental health. So that goes for adults as well. If you know that you don't take time for yourself throughout the day and throughout the week, then that's, probably negatively affecting how you show up in your workspace and for your family and for yourself and with your partner and all that sort of thing. So just really making sure that you find that time for you. The social side of things, FOMO, fear of missing out. I know that so many of us experience FOMO. We don't want to miss that party. We don't want to miss that gathering or whatever it might be. But another very common feedback from everybody is there will always be another party. There's always going to be another gathering. If you miss the party on Tuesday night, there's probably going to be another one Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. College and university life is different than high school. It's not like a Monday to Friday sort of thing and your weekends are the weekend. There's always something going on, especially if you move to a city. So really making sure that not feeling like you're left out when you, or not feeling left out when you don't attend something. There's always going to be another opportunity. And then in saying that, one girl wrote and she said that if she could go back and tell her high school self something, partying on the weekend isn't always necessarily the best thing. And if she could go back and do it over, she'd maybe spend a little bit more time with her close friends, with family, and, just making a little bit more effort into her schoolwork, so that right now she wasn't really feeling like she's suffering and falling behind. Money. Debt is a real thing when you go to college or university. Firsthand knowledge right here, graduated with over $80,000 of student loan debt. So it's real. And so making sure, I had to laugh when one person wrote back and said, making sure that you're not going out and spending your student loan on a Michael Kors bag when maybe you need to buy the $1,000 worth of textbooks. Been there and done that. When I was in college and university, I had the best wardrobe going and the best makeup going and the best social life going, but now I'm paying for all that. So really being mindful of where is that money going. And it's not free money. You have to pay it back, and you don't want to learn that the hard way. So debt is real. I loved how one person wrote back and said, when you move out on your own, $1,000 is equivalent to like $100. So when you're living with your parents, maybe $100 goes a long way. When you move out on your own, $1,000 feels that way. You're now feeding yourself and buying all of your own things and your expenses, paying your rent, paying for your food, paying for your textbooks, which are well over $1,000 a semester, depending on the program that you're in. When you do move out on your own, though, and you're taking care of things and it's your money, you'll really learn to love your own space. And I love that somebody wrote that. You know, you really make things feel good for you and creating that really nice space. And so making sure that where you do spend your money, making sure that it makes you feel good, so that you've got a space to go to study, to relax, to have friends over, to socialize, and to just feel good in your own spot. And then one thing that I read that instantly made me burst into tears soon as I read it was, love your mom as much as you can now. And so maybe that quote can apply to your dad or your siblings or both parents or a grandparent or something. But a lot of these teenagers have wrote back and said, I didn't realize how much I was going to miss my family. So, you know, they're looking forward to Thanksgiving and getting back home and having that home cooked meal and being able to laze around the house and be with their brothers or sisters, their family pet, their mom, their dad, and just really missing that and almost realizing that they took it for granted when they were in high school. So for those of you that are in grade 12, nobody is ever going to be able to describe to you how fast these 10 months are going to go of your grad year. So soak up the opportunity to spend time with your family, with your close friends, and to take care of your academics. And then the very last thing that I want to touch on that everybody made note of was getting yourself out there and being social. In university and college, there's lots of opportunity to do that, especially if you live in residence on your dorm floor. There's going to be all these like different socials and activities and stuff that you can take part of. One student had said that when you go and sit down in the auditorium, ask the person next to you, like, hey, what program are you in? Where are you from? Chances are you're going to have a story to share with somebody and be able to create conversation, and just really putting yourself out there. The more connections you can make, the absolute better the experience you're going to have. So I hope that was helpful for anyone who's in high school or maybe feeling like they were alone. If you're in your first year of college or university, you're not alone in feeling that debt is real, lack of sleep is real, the workload is real, missing your family is real. So if you have a teenager in your life in high school, I would love if you could share this video with them, especially any of my teacher friends who teach high school. Pull this YouTube clip up on your overhead tomorrow. Show it to your class. Let's remind them that this is the power year if you're in grade 12 and to make the most of it. So put yourself out there, run for valedictorian, class president, be on all of the social committees, take your studies as a priority, apply to all of the colleges and universities so that you've got options, always be in choice. Last but not least, what I would like to say is that if you are in high school and especially grade 12 and you are not feeling that you have a true calling yet, you don't know which college or university you want to go to or what program seems appealing to you, then my scholarship fund is what you should be reaching out for. And so I definitely promote post-secondary studies for those that know what they want to do, and especially if whatever path you want to take requires you to study further, then that's amazing. However, if you're stuck and unsure and you're thinking maybe you want to travel and you would like to get your yoga teacher certification, then you can always reach out to me and I can give you the application process for the OMWORK scholarship. So I hope that everybody has a wonderful week. Fall is, we're in our first week of fall and it's been beautiful. If you haven't grabbed a copy of my book yet and you would like that, you can grab it off of my website or Amazon or Kindle and know that you're donating to the OMWORK project in doing so. Okay, everyone, hope that you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing where this video gets shared and how it helps out teenagers in high school. Thanks. Bye.